everyone and welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm going to be marzipaning and icing my Christmas cake, and it smells absolutely gorgeous. It really does. It's been maturing for a month now and it's had 2 lots of brandy in the bottom of it, but it's the right way up today and we need it that way up to do our marzipaning. And I've got everything here that I need to marzipan and ice it. I've got my marmalade, which is going to help the marzipan, which is in a packet. We have to make that nice and soft and roll it out in a minute. And we've got what makes the icing. Now, we use royal icing for the top of the cake, but you can use fondant icing. There is a fondant icing that you can buy that you can just roll out and put on the top. But this is a harder icing. This is more traditional. So this is what I use, okay? I've got my rolling pin and everything. So what we'll do is we'll put the marzipan on top first. So let's get our marmalade. Just get our knife. Got my pinny on today because I do tend to get a bit messy. And you just smooth some marmalade onto the top of the cake, just to make the cake a bit sticky so that the marzipan will actually stick to the cake, because you don't want it so that the marzipan is coming off. You always end up getting a few spills, but that's all right. It's -2 here today and the ground's really hard and frosty, very Christmassy, and of course we're going to be getting snow, so just preparing the ground, isn't it, so it can lay. So that should be nice, shouldn't it? So a good helping of marmalade all over the top of your cake. I hope you're seeing this all right. There we go. Doesn't matter if you've got the kind of orange peel, because that always kind of makes it a bit more Christmassy. So there we go, we got a nice covering of marmalade on the cake, and that will help our marzipan to stick on. There we go. So I'll pop that back into the fridge. In the dishwasher. I always try and be as tidy as I can. One reason is because I forget to do things. I am terribly forgetful. I'll just get my coffee. And the other thing is I just like to be tidy anyway. Just have a drink of my coffee. Right. So I've just move the cake out of the way for a minute so you can see what I'm doing with the marzipan. Now the marzipan comes in this hard lump and we have to roll this out so that it can go on top of the cake. And what I use is some of the royal icing, and it's very fine royal icing, so you have to be careful with it. Just use a bit of that on your worktop to roll the icing out on. But first we have to make this a bit more pliable because it is in a hard lump. There we go. Now you can get golden marzipan, which I've got, which is the more traditional marzipan, and you just, or you can get white marzipan, so whichever you like. And you have to work it so that it gets a bit softer. It's a bit like Play-Doh. If you've ever used Play-Doh, you'll know what I mean. Get it nice and soft. just work it through your fingers and do it in kind of a square shape. That's it. So it's nice and pliable. And stick it there on top of your royal icing. And you get a bit of royal icing onto your... Let's have a bit more. Bit of royal icing onto your rolling pin so it doesn't stick. There we go. And then you start to roll it out. Remembering that whatever shape your cake's going to be in, obviously if you've got a round cake, you make it into a round. And if you've got a square cake like I have, try and keep it into a square. So you just roll it out a bit and then turn it over. Get a bit more icing onto it so it doesn't stick. And pull it out. That's it. Make it a bit bigger. Turn it over again. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get a perfect square shape because you're going to cut it off. See, I just do the top of my cake because my men aren't that fussed about marzipan. I absolutely love marzipan. And I love marzipan fruits that you get at Christmas. They're a bit expensive, but they're nice. You know, they're little pieces of marzipan shaped like bananas and apples and things. I absolutely love them, but very rarely get them. Right, so now I've got my marzipan and it's roughly, I think, the size I need. Let's just get my cake back off the side. And we'll have a little look. How close am I? Oh, look at that. Just need to pull it out a little bit this end. So just come across a bit, make it a bit wider. So you can always put it up against it and have a look. Right, so there's my cake. And then you just pop your marzipan on the top. And just press it down onto the cake like that. Doesn't matter if it overlaps a bit. I mean, if you're going to do the sides as well, you can either make it really big so it goes over the sides, or you can make a separate bit and wrap it round. But I just do it like this. And I leave the extra marzipan on because I like marzipan anyway, so I like to eat it. But what I do is, if you have a look at this side, it's gone over quite a bit on that side. So I just get a sharp knife and just level it off. That's it. And just pull that bit off. That's great because I can eat that later. And that makes it a little bit tidier. And the same there, just take that little bit off. That's it. And the same this side. Just level it up with the top of your cake. So you can always eat the extra bits. Hope you're still seeing this all right. There. There you go, that's all neatly on top of the cake. And I've got just that much left over. So there it is on the top of the cake. I hope you're seeing that all right. One marzipan cake. Now I'll just take that out of the way for a minute. I've already measured this out. Just get a bit of, move this off. Just tidy my top. all this. I'll just use a bit of wet kitchen towel. That gets it off your side lovely. There we go. Because I always like to try and keep tidy when I'm doing it. Right, so the next thing we need to do is mix up the royal icing. Let's move you forward a little bit. Sorry, I tipped you over there. Now you need, I just do the top of the cake, and for the top of the cake you just need half of the packet, and the packet is 500 mils, so I use 250 grams, sorry. It's 500 grams and I use half, so 250, and it's very, very fine powdery stuff, so it does tend to get about a bit. And you use I don't drink my coffee. You use 40 for 250 grams of the icing sugar. You use just 40 mils of cold water. That's all you need, cold water, and just gradually put a little bit of cold water in. Like I say, remember that it is very, 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 very fine, so it will fly about a bit. So if you have like asthma or anything like that, be very careful. And just mix it in. I've just got a teaspoon, that's what I'm using, a teaspoon. You can do this with an electric food mixer if you want to. I tend to do it just with a teaspoon. And there we go. And that's mixed up. That's fine. There we go. Let's just move my jug out of the way. Now, these whisk up a bit. These directions for water and everything are always a little bit flexible, so that's looking a bit thin to me. So what I will do is add some more of the icing sugar to it and thicken it up a little bit. See what I mean? Look at this, it goes everywhere. Just to thicken it up a bit. It is very flexible, so you don't have to, you know, be absolutely precise. A good mix up. This is why I wear a penny, because I always end up getting covered in it. It's not quite thick enough. Let's put a bit more in. Just do it a bit at a time. And just gently fold it in. Oh, this is looking better. Of course, I've been doing this for a long time, so I kind of know myself when it's coming to the right consistency. Yeah, it starts to feel a little bit sticky and heavy, if you know what I mean. Let's have another little sip of my coffee. Yeah, it starts to feel a little bit heavy and stiff, and that's what you want. And you see it's gone a really lovely thick white, like snow, which we're going to get. You know, like I say, this is just the way I do it, you know. It's not for everybody, but I'm just showing you mine. And then what I do is I just test it. because what I do, I can't do a fancy design. For any of you that can do a fancy design on the top, you know, with the piping and everything, that would be lovely. You could do stars and all sorts, but I'm no good at anything like that, you know. So what I do is I just do it so it stands up like snow. So I'm just having a look to see if it will actually stand up or whether it's too runny. Yeah, I think it will. More of a... Should have put my wrist strap on, I forgot it. I'm doing this first thing in the morning, my brain's not quite awake yet. Just give it a bit more of a mix up. Make it a bit harder. Yeah, I think that's going to stick up okay. Right, then we get our cake back. Our beautiful Christmas cake. And then we just put some in the middle of the cake. A little pool of it, like that. And it does spread out a bit itself anyway. You see it's quite gloopy. Just ease it out. There we go. And a little bit more. Just do it a bit at a time, that's what I do, just so it doesn't kind of run over the edges or anything. There he is. Just ease it out over your cake with the back of your spoon. This is running off. There we go. If you've got any spillages down the side, just bring it back. That's it. There we go. Love royal icing. Pull it back a bit more. There we go. If you need a bit more, just put a little bit more on. There we go. That's excellent. All over the top of your cake, like that. Covering your marzipan as much as you can, but not going too close to the edge because obviously it's going to run down a bit if you do that. I always end up eating half of it. That's okay. So there you go, you've got your royal icing on the top of your cake. Need a little bit that corner. There we go. And that's covered the top of the cake beautifully. It's like a big blanket of snow, isn't it? And what I get is a fork and just make it stand up like that. Can you see what I'm doing? Just ease it up. And that's just like a snow scene. And that's what I do every year, and it kind of makes it look as if it's snowing on top of the cake. There you you go, so you've got some little peaks. And then I put my Father Christmas sledge on. And there's a little snowman. And our Merry Christmas sign. I've got a little reindeer that I pop on. And a little Father Christmas. And there it is. There's your Christmas cake. Just wipe off the bits that have gone down the side, but that doesn't matter really, because what you do is put a festive wrap round it and then it looks absolutely beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed watching me decorate the Christmas cake, and I hope some of you have tried to do it, and if you have, I'd love to see what you've done or hear from you what you've done. So yeah, you all have a good rest of your day. Mwah. Love you, ladies and gentlemen.